Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna set up this room for me and Alan, and then we are going to get started for this mentoring session. Let me just get this started real quick, and then we should be good to go. Send this link out to Alan real quick. All right, looks like we're good to go. Just waiting for Alan to show up and we can get started. Hey, what's up, City? Hey, Alan, I sent you the link for the Zoom, so I'm not sure if you got that, Alan. You're not in the Zoom right now. You're just in the YouTube channel. So let me message you real quick. Hey Naresh, how's it going? Hey Biko. Alan, I'm not sure if you saw the message on Telegram, but I sent you the Zoom link where you can join in. And you'll have to join in there so that we can communicate. Just to make sure. Just make sure you got it. Nice, Naresh. Yeah, definitely. Glad to have you aboard. Good to see that you signed up for the premium. So yeah, definitely. I mean, it should be a good year for you with everyone else here. Copying these trades that we're calling. I think we currently only have a couple of trades active right now. We have the odd JPY that pulled back a little bit, and the CAD JPY. I think the US 30 is still running as well. Yeah, the US 30 is still running, but the market's closed right now for the swap, and it looks like it's on its way to full TP down here. So let me just check this real quick. Let's see, Alan, make sure that you're logged into the Zoom, because I see that you're here in the YouTube, but I don't know if you're going to be able to get it from there. Hey Jeffrey, how's it going, bro? Jeffrey, yeah, we're in a odd JPY buy, CAD JPY buy, and this US 30 sell right here. I'm currently not in it. Actually, I'm not in this one. I got out in profit earlier during the live session. If you guys were in that, and these were my profits for today. I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but I mean, it's good. I made about 1,000, 2,000, close to 3,000 today, which is not that bad. And then split amongst two accounts. I have two accounts, so I technically made 6,000 today. So, I mean, could have been more, could have been better, but it's all good. I think I'm going to sign up for that 200K FTMO so that I can increase my account size. Because, I mean, it's a no-brainer at this point, Might as well just keep pushing. So, Alan, let me check again real quick. I don't think you're in here just yet. Let me see. Hey, Alan, if you can check your Telegram, I sent you a couple messages on there with the link. I'm not sure if you saw it, because I do see you here on the YouTube. I'm just not sure if you're aware that you're not in the Zoom. I'll give it some time, Alan, for you to join in on this. But I can't hear you because you're in the you're not in the actual room. So I will hold off on this real quick. See if you'll make your way in. Okay, Alan. So let me log in with tablet. Can't seem to get in with laptop. Gotcha. Yeah, no problem, Alan. I'll be waiting here. There's no rush. You know, it's my bad. I totally forgot about your session. I was at lunch and then I saw that I got the alert that we had a meeting at 2 and I totally missed it. So that's my mistake. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, no rush. I'll be waiting here. Let's see, I'm gonna check my messages real quick. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. Alan's made in the room. Hey, Alan. Let me just let you into this room real quick. All right, cool. Looks like Alan is connecting to the room. Hey, Alan, can you hear me?
Great. Sorry about that, Shawn.
No, it's no problem. Gotcha. All right, perfect. So you're in here. Awesome.
So I'm sorry about that. Yeah, you know what? I don't know why I can't get in through my laptop, so I'm gonna have to figure that out afterwards. So nonetheless, thanks again for making time for me for this piece. So this is it's key. I'm glad you were able to accommodate me later in the day today. So
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, that was my mistake too. I totally forgot we were registered. We were scheduled for today because I checked my calendar and I was out at lunch, and then I noticed that it was 2 already. Got the alert, and I thought it was for tomorrow, but it was for today. So that's my mistake. So sorry about that, but you know, here we are.
Perfect. I guess it's a good thing that we have a 3-hour difference, so it works for both of us. So
Yeah,
so I'm New York time, so which is good. So
oh, perfect. So it's like 5 for you. It's about afternoon after work for you.
Yeah, so it's almost 6 o'clock, so it's all good. So I did have some questions. So I've been working through the piece already. So uh, the key ones is, and unfortunately, you know what, because I can't use my laptop right now to sort of share screens. Again, that piece with completing the zones. And I wanted just to ask you in terms of flipping from the 4-hour to the 30 minutes to the 10, and just how do you what's the correlation in terms of once you mark the zones in the different for the 30 minutes and the 10 minutes. I'm trying to figure out, because I was playing around with it, but then when you do them in different time frames, it doesn't necessarily carry forward properly.
Exactly. So each time frame is different. It just depends on which strategy you're applying. You know, if you're applying the K2SR strategy on the 4-hour, then you would chart on the 4-hour. If you're scalping on the 10-minute, then you'll zone your charts on the 10-minute. So it really depends on what you're applying. Is there a specific strategy that you're focused on, or something that you're, you know?
Well, listen, I mean, the snipe strategy is it's a hot piece right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely what's making everyone's profit. So, you know, that's kind of what we're on at this point.
Exactly. So I was really trying to focus on the 4-hour time frame into the 10-minute time frame.
Gotcha. Okay.
So then I just wanted to ask you, how do you go more from the 30 minute to the 10 minutes?
For doing the snipe strategy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the snipe strategy, I wouldn't necessarily use it on the 4-hour. It does work. I've seen it work on the 4-hour, but the 4-hour is a little different because it takes a lot more time for it to move. So if you're going to be trading on the 4-hour, then the K2SR strategy would probably be the best option, because that's what I use for all of the Forex trades. But as you can see from my scalping, I mainly trade US 30 because it moves fast. So if you're applying the snipe strategy, then I only apply it on 10-minute. There's other people in the group that use it on, like you've seen today, CT applies it on the 3-minute. Everyone uses it on different time frames. So it's really up to preference on like what you want to apply it for. Me personally, I only apply it on the 10. So I don't really bother with, you know, the 30 or anything else. The only reason I go on the 30 is to analyze for other people, because the strategy is the same. It's the same way across the board. you want to apply it on the 10-minute, the 15-minute, the 30-minute, the 4 hour. It's really up to you. But me personally, I found that the 10-minute is the best sweet spot. This is where you'll find a good amount of entries and the accuracy is on point. Because if you go lower than the 10-minute, you're probably going to run into a lot of choppiness, a lot of noise in the market. And then if you go on the higher time frame, you're probably not going to find very many entries, right? Because it's not going to happen so often.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So sorry, let me ask the question in this way. Um, I was looking at the 4 hour and then the 30 minute time frame to look at the trend.
Mhm.
Is that am I looking at it in in terms of the right way by doing that?
I mean, there's ways to do it. Like a lot of people like to do a top-down analysis. They'll like to look on the higher time frame, see what the trend's looking like, and then they'll move down to the lower time frame. But if you're applying the snipe strategy, it doesn't really matter because we're not trading in the direction of trend. We're only trading in the direction of momentum. So if we see momentum
Okay.
going up, we take buys. If we see momentum going down, we take sells. Like for example, here on the 10-minute, right? So like price it'll shift. It'll go from trending up to trending down very quickly. It's not going to take if you're looking at the trend on the 4 hour, you're not going to see the trend shift immediately within, the next hour or so. It'll probably happen the next day or so. So
Hmm.
if you do that, you're going to miss out on a lot of good trades because you're looking too far ahead, right? We're only trying to trade within the first few minutes. Like if we're scalping on a 10-minute, every candle is 10 minutes. So like, for example, here, this little area right here is like a few hours. Like from this area where price shifted trend from here to down here, this is a
Yeah.
4 hour move. This is like 1 4 hour candle, right? So if
Okay.
you're looking and the trend is different on the 4 hour, like if you see prices trending up right here on the 4 hour, you're not going to take these sells. You're going to miss out on these trades. So
Got it.
I wouldn't necessarily do that if you're scalping because it's going to be irrelevant, because price moves so fast. But if you're trading on the intraday, then yeah, the 4 hour will make sense because you want to know where the price is going 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours from now, right?
Okay.
So that's the main difference. So I wouldn't necessarily do a top-down analysis if you're scalping because it just doesn't matter. You're
Hmm.
going to catch these small moves because each candle moves like, let's see, each candle moves like 500 pips. So you're going to catch your
Yeah.
trade within 10 minutes, right? You're not going to care where the trend's going to be 4 hours from now.
Got it.
So yeah. So if you're again, back to what I was mentioning before, it just depends on like what you're looking to apply. If you're trying to trade intraday, then yeah, it would make sense to do a top-down analysis. But if you're scalping, you only want to know what's going on, 10 minutes from now, 20 minutes from now, maybe an hour from now max, because generally our trade hits within that time period.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
That makes okay. That makes sense. Let me just check that off. Just want to keep myself here. And in terms of once you do your zones, right? So you actually create a new chart, right?
Well, I have like different tabs here. So like for here, I have my 10-minute, I have my just US 30 for here. Cause normally we trade our US 30 for the daily entry. So this would be like the
Yep.
daily entry here. I have another tab for 10-minute scalping. I have another tab for 30-minute scalping. I have another tab for testing. So if someone wants me to analyze something that I don't normally trade, I'll go to
Okay.
this tab and I'll just, do whatever I need to do on here. So I generally have a different tab for every different trading style. So I don't have to go back and forth. Like my first tab here is for my official charts, which is my Forex trades. So I keep this stuck on 4 hour. I don't touch it at all the time frame. And then my next tab here is my indexes. So if I want to compare two indexes, I will use this to just compare. And then, obviously from here, just my US 30 and so on.
Okay. Yeah, because that's the piece that I'm trying to figure out when I was planning, trying to create the zones, just being able to create a chart for each, for, US 30, NASDAQ, so that
Mhm.
I don't need to, because so that way I have them there all the time and then I'll just adjust the zones just like you do to update them, right?
Oh yeah, and there's another way to do that too. So if you don't want to have different tabs, I mean, like I mentioned, it's really up to preference how you want to do it. This is just how I work efficiently. If you want to just have one tab open, then you can use this tool right here, and then you can have like four windows here. So you can have like your Nasdaq, your US 30, your German DAX. It's really up to how you want to
Yes.
do it. And then if that's the case, you can set your zones over here for like US 30, and then you have your zones over here for like whatever other pair that you want to trade. And then you'll just click and you'll just maximize whenever you want to focus on that specific chart. For me personally, I
Mhm.
like having different tabs so that they're
Yeah.
separated. But it's really up to you how you want
No,
to do it.
I like the way you have it set up because it gives you the full screen, right, of what you're looking at versus it just gets too busy when you have multiple um, items in one screen. So
I
I
agree.
just
I agree.
I like that nice clean look the way you have it when you're having the the sessions with us in the mornings, right? So yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely. So if you want to do
okay,
this, you would just have one chart, and then you'll click on this drop down right here, and
okay.
then you can create a new chart layout. So
That's
like,
okay. So that's what I was thinking of doing. Okay.
mhm, exactly.
Per-
Yeah.
Perfect. So I was in the right track. I just, I don't want to duplicate the stuff that I need to do, right? So,
Oh, of course.
yeah. Um, the uh, the 1 minute piece. I know that the minute sniped trading and what's your take on that? Because I know, like you said, it moves very fast, right?
Yeah.
And my tendency is to that when I'm looking at it on my MT4 app on my phone, it moves so quick that sometimes I hesitate, and then I end up closing too quick because I see there's just too much movement, and I think, holy crap, it's gonna draw down too much. So
Mhm. Yeah. So for that 1 minute, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you do it yet because in order to trade on the time frame that low, you really have to know what you're doing. You can't, like how you mentioned, you kind of hesitate. Like if you're trading on the 1 minute, you can't hesitate at all. You have to know like when to open, when to close. Because if you take your eyes off the chart for like a few seconds, it can easily go from like, let me go on the 1 minute here. You can see like the crazy erraticness here. So like for example, here, if you're taking like a sell and then it swings up and then you get scared and then it ends up dropping down super heavily, it happens. It's like literally you have to have the instincts to trade on the 1 minute because it moves so fast. Let me see if I could turn on some zones here. One way that I do it uh, is I would trade it as it breaks zones. Like for example, here, let me just draw some zones here. And
okay.
this is something that I don't necessarily recommend you do because the only reason I do this is because I understand, like I can watch the charts and I can
Hmm.
anticipate what's going to happen next. So like, for example, here, so this isn't going to be a real trade, but I'm going to use this, just for example here. So
Yeah,
let
no,
me
that's
just,
great.
so we'll just say that like technically we'll be in a, in a long or a short position, like somewhere over here. This is just going to be, for example, say, for example, we're in a position here, and then we're trying to go for our full TP, right? For like 150 pips, somewhere down
Yeah.
here. So just say this for an example. This is going to be the full move, right? You can already visualize, what we're looking for here. So I'm
Hmm.
just going to take this off the chart so that you can see a clean chart. And what I'll do here is basically, say we already have this full position running, right? We're already active right here. And then you want to scalp within this move. So if you're doing that, what I generally would do is when a price breaks structure, like right here, then I would enter another sell position and then I'll write it to this next zone down here, right? So I'll scalp within this full move because you saw that the entire move was from up here to down here, from this area to down here. So
Yeah.
I'll take another sell I'll take one trade over here and I'll be going for this entire move. And then when it broke structure again right here, I would take another sell and then hit my TP there. And then as it swings back up again over here and it closes below, I do the same thing over and over again. I just keep scalping within it, right? So
Okay.
instead of just getting 150, 1,500 pips, I'm getting an extra 200 pips here, extra 200 pips here. Again, right here, price ends up closing below this structure again right here. And then I just keep, stacking up my profits as price continues to break below, swing back up. It breaks again below here, and then I'll enter another sell there, right? So
Okay.
in total, I would have locked in on top of this full 1,500 pip move, I would lock in an extra 200, 400, 600, and about another 1,000 pips. So I basically would have doubled or tripled my profits if I was to scalp within the entire move.
Okay. Now, just going back to the initial piece where you said price broke structure,
Mhm.
um, where did you, sorry, can you just go back to that part?
Sure.
Um, sorry that I just want to
So
make sure that I understood where you took that from.
right over there, where price broke and closed below structure.
Okay. There's
So
no
right,
pivots in the,
yeah.
sorry,
So this,
I
yeah.
was looking at pivots. So
Yes, this is where it gets a little complicated. That's why I don't recommend you do this, because you have to actually know what you're doing. You can't just
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
think, oh, I want to take this trade. All of a sudden you're in drawdown. You lose the trade, right? Yeah. So for me, I already kind of know where things are going here. So like, even for example here, if I was to take trades in this direction, price broke structure right here, I'm taking a small little scalp to this little area right here, right? I enter right there, make a few pips, exit right there. It closes again below, right there, a few pips
yeah,
right there for another win. And that's how I make those smaller wins. Like, you'll see my profit sometimes. I'll go from making like a couple $100 to like, a couple $1,000 because I'm scalping within the move. So let me show you real quick on my chart here. I'll show you my profits from yesterday, because this is a good example of what I was doing.
yeah.
Let me see this real quick. Okay. Or I'll move this over here. So you can see from my profits from yesterday, these are from the 16th, or no, from the 20, I don't know. This was yesterday. Anyways, so like I
Okay.
made like 700 because I took the bigger move.
Hmm.
I made another 600 because I was making the bigger move. And then here I have smaller profits, $100, because I took these little smaller scalps within this area. So that's why I have a difference in profit. I'll have my full profit where I'm locking 700, making 600, and then I go from making 600 to 300 because I'm going for a smaller move there.
Yeah.
And then I'll go from like 700 again because I have the full move, another full move right here for 500, and then another profit here for 184. So you can see the difference between profits, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, and that's because I'm scalping within it. I'm not taking the entire move. Like for example, here I'm taking that full 1500 pips, and then here I'm taking a fraction of that. I'm taking like 200 pips, another 200 pips, 400 pips, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is something that I don't think you should work on just yet. Because
No.
honestly, if you try to go to this more advanced, style of trading, you're probably going to make some mistakes because this move is way too fast. Like, you'll have a split second to decide, is this a good trade? Is this not a good trade? And if you're not able to like act on your feet, like, this is what I see happen a lot of times. So what happens is people will see this trade, and I'll call it on the live session, right? But people don't know what I'm doing. So what happens is they enter way down here, and by the time they enter, it's already going the opposite direction, right?
Yes. Exactly.
So, yeah, so you have to know exactly what you're looking for. So I don't recommend you apply this yet. I would say master the snipe strategy first,
Yep.
because this is a combination of the K2SR strategy. So if you understand the intraday strategy, the K2SR zone strategy, this is what it is. It's just on a shorter time frame. So we normally do this on the 4 hour, but I'm doing it on the 1 hour because it just works entwined with our daily entry.
Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. Okay. Now, would you be able to go into the snipe strategies in that whichever ones are in within that space that you were just showing us? I'm just trying to sort of analyze and just look at the different approach, because again, I was looking for the pivots, right? So when you did that, when you did those scalps there, it kind of threw me off because of I didn't see any pivots in the area. So
Exactly. That's a totally different strategy. That has nothing
yeah,
to do with pivots.
yeah,
So
yeah,
let's go over to the snipe strategy, and I'll show you exactly what you're looking
yeah,
for. Because this is something that you should probably master first. Once you're good at this, then you can start moving on to the more advanced stuff. But I think at this
yeah.
time, it'd probably be best to just focus on one thing, master it. Once you're good at that, then you can move on to the next thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'll go to an area over here where it's kind of moving smoother. It's going to be easier for us to identify trades. So let's see if I could find something here. Let's see. Yeah, unless there's one that you have in mind that you might have been confused with, then we can look at that specific trade. But if you just want me to show you examples, I can show you
Yeah,
examples.
show examples. I think for the next call, we'll take some screenshots and I'll have those ready to review with you. So
Perfect. Yeah, that'd be best, because I think that's the best way for you to learn. It's better for you to apply it yourself, find mistakes, and then get confused, right? When you're confused, you
yeah,
can come to me with questions, and then I can clear it up for you. Because it's like a trial and error type thing. It's something that you have to make mistakes to actually understand it. Because if I just show you things, obviously in this session, you're going to say, oh yeah, I understand that. But once you actually apply it yourself, you're gonna be like, oh crap, what did Shawn talk about that one time?
got it.
And
Got
it
it.
happens all the time. So I'll show you some examples first, and then we will go from there. So let's see, we got this there, that there. So you understand how to draw the zones, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
just want to make sure, because that's a confusion that a lot of people get to. But yeah, if you have it down already, I mean, you're pretty much, that's really like
The
all you need.
the one piece I actually wanted to ask, because I know you, and I guess I should just go back to the mentoring session you did yesterday, where it actually, I know that I extended the zone, the lines to go by 500,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
And then there was something else that you did afterwards. Anyways, I'll review that session again.
Was it
That
was it
also,
was it getting the zones across the board? Is that what you're looking for?
yeah, that it would stretch it out completely, and I think that's the piece
Oh
that
yeah, yeah. So like here, I'll show you real quick. So basically, this is what your zone looks like, right? You just have a little box there.
yes,
So
exactly.
if you want to extend it over, just double click on the box, or you can. One thing you can do is you can double click. That's probably the easiest way, or you can right click on it and go to settings. So it's the same thing. It's
Okay, that's
either
what I
double.
was. That's okay. That's the only piece I need to do, because that'll definitely save a lot of time. So
Oh, definitely, yeah, because it's easier when it goes across the entire board.
yeah, yeah,
And then right here, you just click extend right, extend left, and there you go.
yeah, man, it's so much easier.
Yeah, very, very much easier. Yeah. All right. So like
Yeah.
once we have these zones set up, I don't need to draw these up here because it's kind of relevant. Or I mean, technically, I guess we could. We can go from like top to bottom, I guess. And then I will show you if there are more entries over here. All right. So we'll just start from the top then. So we'll go over here. And let me just turn this off. And then what we'll do is we will rewind to the first entry over here. All right. So I'll put the requirements here on the side just so you can see for a refresher. This is the K² snipe strategy. US 30 on the 10-minute time frame. So first, you just want to confirm wick rejection off a K² pivot, which can be any pivot. Next, you just want to confirm wick rejection off K² SR zone. And then lastly, you just want to confirm wick rejection off K² pivot does not touch candle body. And that's pretty much it. I mean,
Yep.
literally, it's
Yep.
step-by-step process. So right here, we will identify this as a wick rejection off the red pivot right
Yes.
here.
Okay. Perfect.
So
That's the first one I saw. Okay.
definitely, yeah. So we have the wick rejection off here. We have the wick rejection off the structure, which would be this K² SR level right here. And then we just want to make sure that this red pivot doesn't touch the body, which obviously it doesn't. So once that happens, you can enter your short position right here on the close of the candle, and then you'll shoot for 500 pips. And that's the sweet spot for US 30. So once you have that set up, you let it run, and there you go, you hit CP. And this is
Yep.
why we don't care about the overall trend, right? Because it
That's
happens
right.
so quickly. It happens within 20 minutes. So at that point, the trend is irrelevant at that point. Because like for example here, so this is the 10-minute, right? Let me go on the 4-hour and let's see what the trend looks like. The trend is trending up here, right? So if you were to focus on the trend, you wouldn't have taken this trade, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
right.
yeah, so
Okay.
that's why we just focus on the 10-minute, because the higher time frames are irrelevant at this point because we're just going for these quick movements.
And then in terms of that particular scalp, right? Then you're looking at the lines that are going in the same direction, right?
For
Um,
for the pivots.
or the pivots, or do you just look at what has just happened in terms of where it crossed? I'm
For
trying
the
to
oh
I guess I'm trying to understand the piece where when you go short or you go long, right? So
oh yeah, yeah. So if the wick rejection is off the top, then we go short. If the wick rejection is from the bottom, then we go long.
because the candles are above the price line, is
Uh,
that
Not necessarily. It's just
necessarily okay?
when you see the wick rejection, it's indicating that price is pushing off, a certain area. So you can see that it acts like a bumper of some sort. Price comes up,
Hmm.
rejects off the pivot in the structure, and then it shoots up, right?
Okay.
Um, Same situation here. Price, same situation here. Like price is rejecting off the top side, so you're going to take
Yep.
a sell because it's indicating that price is pushing downwards.
Down. Okay.
So
Okay.
the pivots don't really matter, what direction they are because, like for example, right here. So let me see if I can find an example where price is above the pivot, but it is okay. Like for this, for example, let me go to the screen one. I probably wouldn't have taken this trade, but I'm just showing you an example
Yeah.
where or price is, it's within the pivots. So there's no clear trend here because price is in between the pivots, but there's still an entry right here, right? Because this wick is touching the pivot and the structure.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, you can technically still take this trade if you want to take like a risky position. So if you were to take this trade right here,
yeah,
and then you let it run, even though price isn't trending down, you still would have hit TP, right?
okay.
So you don't necessarily let the trend get in the way, because if you let the trend get in the way, you're gonna miss good trades that you could have taken, but you were too focused on the trend, right?
Yeah, and I guess the other piece too is that I've noticed when you have the yellow and the green pivots really close together, that's the piece that you say, you shouldn't necessarily trade, right? Because it's a bit iffy.
Yeah, no. What I meant was when it crosses the orange and red, because the green and yellow, you'll see that they cross over a lot because these are the weakest pivots. So these cross over
Okay.
pretty often. The right here is when you wouldn't trade, when these pivots start to cross over the red and the orange, because the red and the orange are the stronger pivots. Like you can see here that they don't necessarily, like once they start to spread out right here, they don't cross over with the green
That's
and
right.
yellow. So once they cross out, this is like the 2 weak levels, and these are the 2 strong levels. So when price starts to shift over like this becomes risky because price is attempting to reverse. It's going from an uptrend to a downtrend. So generally, you probably wouldn't want to trade within here. You want to wait till they spread out again. Like,
Yeah.
see how they're kind of choppy right here? They're very
Yes.
close. And then if you keep waiting for it, you can see as we get here to our other entry, you can see that they start to spread out, right? They spread out tremendously right there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just
Okay, yeah, because there's sometimes there's quite a bit of length of time where they are really close together, right? And you can't really, you just have to sit and wait, right?
exactly, because the problem with trading when price is choppy like that is that you're going to get caught in a lot of, like right here. You can see, for example, let me just zoom out from here a little bit. Let me just turn this off. Yeah, so just looking at this here, you can see like there's going to be some instances where price gets very choppy, like
Yes,
right here.
right there, yeah.
So if you're trading right here and you take a buy and it ends up going down, or you take a sell and it ends up going up, you're not going to know which direction it's going in, right? Because you don't know if price is going to continue down or if it's going to continue up. It's just going back and forth. So like, for example, here, we would avoid these, we would take sells.
Yes.
We would avoid these, but we would take buys, vice versa. As whenever price starts to smoothen out, like here, we would take none of these trades because it's just too close. But then once it starts to spread out, then you take some sells here.
Yeah, I guess just like you were, I think it was today, or I can't remember, it was yesterday or today that you were saying you were just getting a little um, not impatient, but you wanted to take some trades, right?
I was getting bored. Yeah, I was getting bored. It
And
happens. It happens. Yeah.
and I was like, I'm like sympathizing with you because I'm thinking, come on, I want, I have some time right now. I want to see some trades going on. So, but it's
Exactly.
the patience piece.
It's really a game of patience because you'll make a lot of mistakes if you take very unnecessary trades. Like if you go through my inbox, I get messages from people all the time, and they admit to it. They're like, I should have never taken these trades. I was just bored and I wanted to force a trade. Like Eric in the group. I don't know if Eric is in this chat right now, but Eric's a funny guy. Like Eric,
Yes.
I think you saw him. I don't know if he was talking
Yeah.
to you. Was that you that he was talking to this morning?
No, I was just I was adding some commentary stuff that he
Yeah,
posted, right? Because
I think he
he was really
mentioned.
engaged. So yeah.
Yeah, someone asked him if it was his account. He said no comment or something like that. Yeah, it was fucking funny. Yeah. So, Jeremy was asking. Okay, so like he sent his account here because he's been profiting like tremendously.
It's crazy.
His profit was like 100,000, like 110,000. He went from 110,000 to 91,000 because he was over trading. He even admitted to himself. He said, "I made a mistake. I hate myself for doing this. I should have just listened to you." But it's good because he came back. He listened to me after that. I told him, "Hey, Eric, you need to calm down. You need to take a break. Step away from your computer. There's going to be more trades to come." So he sent me, let me see, he sent me his message here. Yeah, he went back to 96,000. So he was like 100,000 up. And then today I told him to, calm down a little bit, just take trades as you normally would take them, follow your rules. So he did that. He made the profit right back. So went from 91,000. Now he's at 96,500. So if you just follow, like I always remind people, you just need to follow the rules and don't go off track. If you go off track, you're going to make mistakes and you get too greedy. I was telling him, greed really has a strong effect on you if you are too confident, right? This strategy gives you that confidence that you never knew you had because it's so accurate. So people want to take trades that aren't necessarily there. But if you just wait
Yeah.
for the trades to appear, you should be perfectly fine. It's easy for you to bounce back because the win rate is so high.
Yeah, and that's, and I think that obviously that comes with experience, right? Because right now I'm just very nervous, right? I'm
Mhm.
trading with my now I just started to play around and trade with my own account, which I only have a couple $1,000s, right? Just to kind of play with very small lots, just to kind of
Mhm.
practice, right? So, but definitely there's that hesitation. Is this right? And then obviously being part of your sessions in the morning, it just it does gives you a bit more confidence in what you're trying to do. So it's a big part of that. So let me just see what just see. So, okay, so you got I got the answer regarding the 10 minute, the 1 minute, buy and sell the pivots. I got that. I think that was it, Sean. Because I again, those are the things that I wanted just to kind of get confirmation for, so that I can start completing everything that I need, so that I can start looking at it from a better perspective, because then I can draw the zones properly and have all that information that I need, and then when you're bringing things up, and also when people are sharing stuff on Telegram, then I can actually relate to it as well. It's a lot easier that way. So um, yeah, no, I think yeah, I think that's good for now. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I mentioned before, this is all going to be you're going to learn more from trial and error than just learning from me directly because the strategy is so simple that there's really no guesswork. You just need to look for the requirements, and if they meet, then obviously it's a good trade. So I
hmm
think yeah, definitely practice a little more, and then whenever you run into a trade that you're confused with, just write down the timestamp. If you write down the
yeah,
timestamp, we can both get on that trade, and then we can reanalyze it, see what you might have done differently. And if the outcome would have been differently, because in some instances the trades are just not they're not going to be 100% obviously, right? You understand that
yeah, absolutely.
there's going to be some bad trades, but in some instances, if we go back and review it, we can understand, what could have been done differently to avoid that outcome.
hmm Yeah, no, I completely understand that. Again, it's just I gotta build the confidence level a bit more. So
Yeah, yeah, no, don't worry. It takes a long time. Like even for myself, I've been trading maybe 10, 11 years now, and I still get scared. I still get nervous. But the thing is, you've seen me on my live session. Most of these times when I take these scalps, I don't even think about it. I literally look at the chart and I'm like, oh, a scalp, I'll take it. And I'm like, oh, look, I'm in profit $1,000.
yeah,
Like it's literally like once you build that thick skin and you just have the confidence with your system or with whatever you're applying, it really takes away all the guesswork and you can literally just trade without even thinking.
yeah, and I think that the biggest part, I just have to get that patience piece, and just looking at it from the 10-minute perspective, just giving it the 10 minutes for the complete trade to happen, right? I think
Exactly.
I'm just wanting this to. I'm looking at it from the 10-minute perspective, but I want it to be done in 1 minute, right?
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. And that's why I choose a 10-minute because it gives you time to breathe, right? You have 10 minutes in between each trade to breathe and think about it. If you're trading
hmm
on the 1 minute, like I mentioned before, you don't have time to breathe. You have 60 seconds to decide, am I going to take this trade? Am I not going to take this trade? And if you miss it, you might miss your opportunity there. And that's why
Yeah.
I don't really recommend the 1 minute for brand new traders. I would go from higher to lower because then in that instance, you'll be able to build your confidence and you'll be able to build your trade psychology. Because trade psychology is one of the biggest things that people have issues with. It's really finding a system that works and trusting it. So
Yeah, no, and that's key. So, now sorry, that one last thing. So when you're looking at the 10-minute piece, and then you say once you take that trade, right, then you obviously you're a pro at this, then you still scalp within that to get more profits.
exactly. Let me see if I can find one here. So let's go back to that one that I just did for you. Let me see if I could or redraw my zone so I don't have to go do them again. Let's see if I can find them here. I had these zones up earlier.
Because that obviously that really adds to your huge potential for more profits, right?
Oh,
So
definitely. Yeah. And that's why I'm able to lock in like massive profits, like last week we locked in, I think a lot of people locked in like at least like
crazy.
a couple $1,000s a day. It was insane. Like I think by Tuesday, I was already up like 15,000 in just one account, and I have two accounts with FTMO. So I was actually up like maybe 30 or 40,000 by the end of the week, which was crazy. I've never done that before. That was the first time I locked in that much profit. And the reason why I was able to do that is because I was scalping within. So going back to this trade right here that I just went over with you. So
Hmm.
what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rewind this here,
Yeah.
and then so you already know what happens here, obviously, because I've already drawn
Yep.
it up.
That's
So
right.
what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go from the 10-minute and go down to the 1 minute, and then now I'm going to do the same thing because we already know the trade's going to win. Obviously, we already marked that up. So I'm going to go on this 1 minute, and I'm going to draw my zones on here as well. So let's see. So we were right here, and we're technically in this trade already because when we marked up the chart, this
Hmm.
candle would have closed already. So from this point right here, we have our new zones, right? So like from this point, this is how I would scalp within it. So we're technically in this trade already because we entered when it's closed. And then now I would be entering a second position right there. So I'm already going for that 500 pips. I'm going for another extra 160 pips off this little move right here.
Okay.
So if I enter this here, well, my stop loss would have been a lot higher because my stop loss, when you're scalping on the 1 minute, I don't even have a stop loss most of the time because it's moving so fast
Yes,
that
that's
I
okay. I was going to
like,
ask you that.
yeah. So I don't usually have a TP set on the 1 minute. I just have my finger on the buy sell button. So like, for example, right here, we have this red candle, I enter my sell. So I enter my sell and then I just wait. I'd have no stop loss, no TP. I wait for price to get to this point down here. Once it gets to this point, I'll close it out manually. So
Hmm.
right here, I'm in the trade, comes down further. At this point, I've closed out the trade already. So once I see it drop past here, I hit the close button. So you can see me
Yes.
sometimes on the live session. I'll have like my chart here, like I'll have it of like, oh guys, look, I'm in a like X amount of profit. And then you see my finger here on this X button here that will be on the side. Because what I'm doing is I'm watching it and I'm waiting for this to drop. As soon as it drops, I don't get greedy. Like obviously I could have made more profit down here, but once price reached this area, I close the trade out. I don't think about what could have happened if I had to like held on to it longer, because the 1 minute scalps move so fast. So I'm generally just watching the chart and then I'm just waiting for it to close. And then as soon as it goes below again, like right here, I enter another sell.
Got it. Okay.
So I enter another sell there, and let me zoom out from this point. And then I'll just pretty much write it down a little bit. Usually if this happens right here and there's no zone below, I would just watch it because, for example, I'm only going for like maybe 100, 200 pips. I'm not going for anything big because we're on the 1 minute. So for example, here, this would probably be my target around like maybe like 150 pips, something like that.
Hmm.
Because obviously right here, you saw from this entry, this was a move for 180 pips. So I'm only going for a small move because the full move is 500 pips. So by this time, we're probably gonna hit full TP off the full move already.
Yeah.
So right here, I would just, I had no stop loss. I just manually entering it. And then as soon as it drops, I would just get out of the trade. And this is why I don't have a stop loss, because on the 1 minute, it bounces around so much where you literally have to just get out when you can.
Yeah. So what I've been doing so far is I obviously I put the stop loss and profit on. I'm just using the app on my phone on
Mhm.
MT4, right? So I need to get into start practicing more using TradingView the way you do. I use TradingView to look at the charts and all that, but to actually enter the actual trades, I'm still using my phone. Um,
It's kind of difficult on the phone. I was doing
yeah.
the same. I was doing the same thing, but you can't scalp on the phone. It's literally impossible because it moves so fast. Like your
Hmm.
finger can only push the close button so quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time you hit that close button, you probably lost out on profits because it's probably moved already at that point.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, I need to, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna practice on demo account with TradingView more, just so that I can get that practice piece, so that I'm not necessarily relying on my phone for most of the trades that I do. So
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. I have trading view on this screen, and then obviously you can't see my computer here, but I have two screens here. I have one screen right here, one screen right here. So this is my trading view, my main screen. And
Yep.
then here on this side is my MT4. So I just have my
Uh,
ready to click out whenever I need to.
yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. So,
Mhm.
okay. No, that's great, Sean. Thanks for showing me that stuff. So now I got to go back and just get myself set up and get more practicing done. So it's great.
Yeah, definitely. You know, just practice, practice, practice. Once you have questions, we'll set up another session. I'll make time for you, and then we'll go over whatever you have. Because you know, like I mentioned, it's just going to be repetition and practice. Because the more and more you apply this, the easier it'll be. It'll be second nature to you eventually.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect. Great.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for your time, Sean. That's all I got for you today. So, all
All right, perfect. So I guess I'll see
right.
you soon, like whenever you're ready for the next session.
Yeah, for sure. I'll let you know.
Definitely, Alan. It's good talking to
Great.
you.